I mean, the basic premise of this whole path of healing and awakening and coming to the end of your suffering in whatever form it's arising always boils down to resistance. If you can take up the decision to meet whatever it is in your experience that feels uncomfortable and that you would wish wasn't there, then the path will unfold naturally and in a way that you never would have imagined. Because life is unfolding on its own already. It's like this constant free fall, and the only thing that gets in the way is resistance, or the one who wants to resist, the one that feels like it has expectations of what should and shouldn't be happening. It really comes down to that, right? Expectations. When you release expectations and you just continuously meet what's here, the path unfolds how it does. So nothing can ever go wrong. Truly. You just have to meet what's rising. And it's the path goes like this, right? Ups and downs, swirly whirlies, backwards, forwards, left, right. Sometimes you'll feel more suffering than you've ever felt before, but that doesn't mean anything's gone wrong. Sorry, I just need to give you some more footage here. It's so beautiful. What the fuck? This is it, guys. That's it. That's reality right now. So there's no way to talk about this that the mind can truly grasp. For me, the key words is willingness. That's all one can really do, is be willing. If you open up to your experience as it is now, and you're willing to see what you don't want to see, feel what you don't want to feel, turn towards what you've been running from, then that's pretty much the best you can do, and remain open. Because the way my path unfolds is going to be different to the way your path unfolds, or the way this person's path unfolds, the way that person's path unfolds. That's what talking about this topic is so nuanced, and at the same time incredibly simple. It's so fucking simple, because it literally just boils down to resistance and opening up. It's too simple for the mind to understand, right? The mind wants a complex strategy. Any question that you ask, so is it this technique? Is it this practice? Is this symptom too much? Is this emotion too much? Is this thing that's arising in my experience, should I go into it or should I run from it? That's why something like surrender is what so many people come back to, and it's what I've always come back to myself. Is just surrender to whatever arises. Let it show you. There's no one separate from reality that knows better. And it can get destabilizing sometimes. It can get disorientating. It can be blissful. It can be anything and everything under the sun. You really just have to trust your intuition. I've actually been here before, a long time ago when I was young. You have to trust your intuition. That's another point I guess I want to make here, is that you start off with teachers and pointers, which is important. I mean, this is so cool, guys. That is so fucking cool. Yeah, I literally remember this swamp. Came here when I was like 16. Mad. So trust your intuition. You start with teachers, you start with guides, and they can always be helpful, but deep down the path always comes back to, again, your path is always going to be slightly different to anybody else's. The same, but different. You're traversing the same territory, but in your own unique world of conditioning. Like, we're all so unique in our conditioning, but at the core, what we discover, the real truth of reality, is the same, but we're going to express it differently. We're going to find it differently. There's going to be different things that resonate. So that's why intuition and resonance is actually another aspect of what this whole path is about. Like, truly, the more that you just have to follow what resonates, right? Some teachers are very good, and I would say for most people they'll be very good, but maybe for one or two people it just does not click with their mind, and somebody talking about the same thing in a different way with their own flavor might click. So trust that and your intuition, in the sense that at some point you let go of every teacher teaching and practice and just follow your own path. You have to. That's what everybody has done that is talking about this subject, right? Every single teacher actually at some point just started trusting their own intuition. So at some point you have to let go of the idea that there's any right way to share this or do this, right? So what I'm referring to, like, if you let me just share from my own example. Like, I was on a retreat now, and there's a schedule for the retreat, and I've done quite a few retreats, and something in me was just like, let's go on this walk in nature. Like, I knew about this hiking trail, and if I just was too attached to following the retreat exactly as it was laid out, like, I can feel that this is exactly where I needed to come, was on this hike. But if I didn't trust my intuition, I would have been like, no, then I'm not following the retreat. If that makes sense, right? So you can do all these things, go on retreats, do meditation, do this technique, do that technique, but trust your own intuition. Again, you're the only one that can know what's right for you, and that's where resonance comes in. If someone's sharing something and it just doesn't resonate, then trust that. It's tricky to talk like this because early on, a lot is going to be ego. Teachers are going to trigger things in you as well, right? People are going to trigger things that you don't want to hear. So you can easily discard helpful teachings and pointings just because it makes you feel uncomfortable. So that's why I say anything I say can be taken in the wrong way. So you just have to let it land and digest it, and that's the best you can hope for, right? Don't attach yourself to any of the words I say either, because also everything I'm sharing is literally just coming out of this moment and it's gone. So if it contradicts something I've said in the past, then just let these words land as they do in this moment. Don't try to make an intellectual framework out of it. Just let the words touch into the aspects of you that are deeper than the intellectual mind. But yeah, so as I was saying, there's teachers, there's practices, there's pointers that are always going to be helpful. Orient to them, use them, but don't cling to them. Don't turn a pointer into it's cliche, I've heard this so many times, but I'll share it. It's like, I think Ajashanti shared it when I heard it, that don't mistake the finger that's pointing to the moon for the moon itself. That's what every pointer is doing. It's pointing you to this, your direct reality, your direct experience as it's unfolding. But don't get attached to the pointer. Don't get attached to this video. Let this video point you back into your own experience. Let every video do that. Let every teacher do that. Let every life experience point you back to yourself. And if there is ego or a fixation or belief or resistance pattern that needs to be dissolved, life will make that clear through friction. And that's when you return to like a teacher or a pointing, right? So that's why I say it's this balance, right? Follow teachers. And when you really trust yourself, you trust your own intuition, then there's nothing wrong with following somebody else's guidance, pointing. You can be willing to, what is it showing you? What is it opening up in you? Right, that was my experience doing this retreat with Angelo. It was, wow, he's able to bring up stuff through the kind of setting of the retreat and the meditation and the silence and the non-distraction. Following it is helpful. It brings up stuff. Being open to that is powerful. But then again, at the same time, not getting attached to a teacher or a retreat setting or anything like that. Cool. Well, I'm going to continue on my hike, and it's nice to chat.